dust storm, man.
Nobody calls Han Solo a bitch.
Bring him on. I prefer a straight fight to all this sneaking around.
I don't know where you get your delusions, laser brain.
Oh, come on, bro. It's the wars.
This week we're going to have a mixed bag of new things to come, content that was coming but is now in question, and some things that could have been. This is The Wars and More. I'm Joe, and of course with me is my good buddy Doug. Hey Doug, how you doing this week?
Doing pretty good, Joe. How you doing?
Not too bad, not too bad. A little tired, but
Yeah, you know,
not too bad. Power on through.
it's been a long week, right?
Yeah. There is that.
Yeah.
All right, well, Dave Filoni.
Yeah.
So, apparently, back a few months ago, Dave Filoni received a quiet promotion.
Yes.
And we're all just finding out about it.
Yes. I was really excited when I heard. I thought,
Yeah.
oh, wow, this is awesome. He really deserves this. And then you find out, wait a minute.
He's been doing this for months.
Okay. Why didn't anybody tell anyone? He's like, but okay.
Well, you know, COVID. And
Yeah, it's right. That is the excuse, the standard excuse for everything these days, isn't it? Yeah.
you know, no one was working, in the office to update the website.
Right. Gotcha.
And they didn't want to give him that permission working from home.
Right.
So yeah, it's this is a really good position for him too, because he's talked about how he wants to stay in the creation portion of Star Wars. He doesn't aspire to be a big executive or anything like that.
No. This is right in his wheelhouse.
So the position is executive creative director.
Sounds like what he's been doing. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, really, in all honesty, he's been doing this for years.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Yeah, that's been, I don't know. I just imagine. So like, you know how it is, right? So let's say at work, you're the Star Wars guy, right? People come up and ask you questions about Star Wars, right?
Yep.
Well, at Lucasfilm, that's Dave. So, that's it's the way I see it.
Yeah, he is the Star Wars guy.
Yeah.
At the place where they make Star Wars.
Right. Yes.
I mean, if you've ever watched Dave speak, right? Like any interview, things like that, Dave is the Star Wars guy. He's the Star Wars guy.
Absolutely.
This guy remembers stuff he remembers all the stuff where we're like, I think it was this,
Right.
but I'd have to double check. Dave's like, no, it was that.
Right. and then he's going to go on and tell you why it was that. Yeah. Because he knows the background and the backstory and all that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he was the backup drive for George Lucas, right? Like,
Yeah.
They took everything in George Lucas's head and uploaded it into Dave's.
I like that. Yes.
I mean, in all honesty, this is a position he's been getting groomed for even since the George days.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, George really took to him and really, showed him the ropes, and he saw Dave as the right type of creative to pass that information on to. So,
yep, that's part of the thing too. You see a lot of those like the behind the scenes stuff. We've actually played clips from them too, from time to time. But it's where George is explaining stuff, and Dave will be sitting right next to him there, sketching on a pad paper.
Yep,
and it's not so much, here's where this fits, here's where that fits, or this character does this, that character. It's all about the overarching concepts, George gets, deep into those and explaining things of like the Force and how it works and, what balance means and all that,
Right.
all that kind of stuff.
Well, we all knew where this guy was headed as soon as you saw the clips of Dave be like, yeah, but what about this? To George Lucas.
Yes. Exactly.
It's like you see that, it's like, oh, look at the pair on this guy.
Yes.
You just questioned the maker.
That's
and
funny.
George didn't immediately tell him, hey, shut up.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Congrats, Dave.
Yes. All right. Little bit of downer news.
What's that?
So, Rangers of the New Republic.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait for that show.
Well, keep on waiting. So, in the Variety article about Dave Filoni's promotion, there was a little line in there that said Rangers of the New Republic is not currently in active development.
Oh, okay.
So it's been backburnered.
Huh. Well,
If there's anything I know about things being developed for Star Wars, once they get backburnered, they're done.
yeah, pretty much.
Nothing gets backburnered and then comes out.
Right.
I mean, they've backburnered projects that are done, completed.
Yeah.
I mean, already spent the money, filmed or developed the game, whatever, and just never come out. 1313.
Yep.
Detours. These are projects that were finished.
Detours, I think we're going to end up seeing.
I keep hearing that,
Yeah.
but I've been hearing that for a few years.
Yeah, but I think that rumor is getting stronger as we move along here. But I know what you're saying, and it's a shame. I mean, this goes right into what you've said in the past, right? If all the way back to Carrie Fisher, right? Carrie passed. You said, in order to tell the story, recast the character.
Yes, I am a huge proponent of recasting when you have to replace someone or remove someone.
Right.
Whatever the reason, and I, like in the instance of Carrie Fisher, I said, I think by not completing that character's story properly, you're doing a disservice to the character that Carrie brought to the screen.
Right.
Carrie deserves that character getting its full story.
Yep. And I think it's pretty clear, moving up to what we're talking about here, the Rangers of the New Republic show was going to be a Cara Dune story.
Yes.
So, with all the things that happened there with Gina Carano and all, it's like,
Yeah, with all the controversy.
yeah. I just don't buy that that's reason enough to just ditch the whole show.
No, recast the damn character.
Exactly.
I mean, you fired her. Cool. Move on. Hire
Right.
someone new. This is what you do. When you fire someone, you replace someone.
Yes.
This is how life works.
Right.
If I'm an investor in Disney, I'm pissed off right now.
Absolutely. Who knows? Because this, you have so much stuff getting put out there, right? I mean, there's a lot of it, but there's only so much. This could have been the one. This could have been the one that, like, made everybody in the United States watch it or whatever, or, around the world watch. I mean, whatever. It could have been a huge moneymaker that is just, no, we're just not going to work on that anymore.
Right. And like I said, whatever, they made a decision. They're standing by their decision. Whatever. Who gives a damn, right?
Right.
But you cannot make this a habit.
Exactly.
Because this is not the last person in today's times, with the way things are with social media and stuff like that. This is not the last person you are going to fire because of something they say on social media.
Right.
This will not be the end of this. And if you're going to start canceling shows because of this, you're going to find yourself in a bad situation in the future.
Yep. Good luck.
Because you're going to keep having to just, but lost a person. Got to get rid of the show.
Right. Which, yeah, I don't know. None of that doesn't make any sense. Recast the character, do the show. I mean, the point's been made. I don't know. It's like, I don't know. It's like if you break up with somebody and then you go and burn their house down. I don't,
Right.
It just doesn't make sense. I don't get it. I don't know. It's
but not only that you do that, but then you go, oh no, it's cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this is just dumb to me.
It is.
I cannot wrap my head around this unless there's something else to this.
Right.
Which there could be.
Which, if there is, say something. Say, well, yeah, it's no longer in production because of X, Y, or Z.
I mean, we'd probably say they're lying anyway, but
It's possible, but I mean, if if you're not going to say anything, then you're just leaving it for us to come to our own conclusions, and gee, it's kind of what we're all concluding here. So I don't know. That doesn't look very good either. So
no. Nope. But hey, whatever. You want to keep canceling shows because
yeah. I don't know.
It's like since when did a character become so tied to the person who played it? I don't get it.
The I don't know. Because in Star Wars, you do have that a lot, right? You have Mark, Harrison, Carrie,
Yeah, but you have that because they were available.
Yes.
And you weren't redoing a movie because the last one sucked.
But what I was going to say is you also have other characters like, Boba Fett. How many people have played Boba Fett? I understand there's a mask involved and everything, but, it's been a lot of people.
Yep.
And it's not like, I don't know. Every incarnation thereof is loved by fans,
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, just as an example, now you have a time where Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan Kenobi is going to be crossing over into the Alex Guinness era of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yep.
Right? No one cares.
Right.
No one's like, oh, no, you can't do that. That's sacred.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody's calling for Sebastian Stan to play young Luke Skywalker.
Sure. Yeah.
No one cares.
Mark Hamill said it.
Yeah, like, literally, no one cares.
Right.
This whole, it's got to be the same person crap, that's dumb.
Yeah. Now, I don't want, like, a new person playing a character every season a show comes out. But
I agree.
But if there's an issue, there's an issue. I mean, this has been done, in Hollywood for years. It's, I don't know. Yeah, and you'll have your people who love the original. You have your people that love the new actor. But hey, it wouldn't deter me from watching good Star Wars stories. I can tell you that much.
I mean, look at Harry Potter, right? They had to recast Dumbledore.
Right.
No one cared.
Right. Okay, just for the record, I didn't know that happened, but okay.
Oh yeah. The first actor played Dumbledore passed away, and they got this major character they have to do something about.
Gotcha.
They recast. Everything went fine.
Yeah.
Made a buttload of money.
Yeah. Huh.
So
That's funny. Disney, Lucasfilm, their company, they're supposed to try and make money. Oh, I think you're onto something, Joe.
yeah. You know how you don't do that? Canceling projects because you fired someone.
Exactly.
All right. Let's get past this.
Yeah.
Someday we'll be able to stop talking about this mess.
Yeah.
It's what it is. It's a mess. Just recast the damn character.
Right. It is a mess.
All right.
What other kind of messes we got?
Do we want a mess or do we want to do something not a mess right now?
It doesn't matter.
I mean, we can do both.
We can do both. Let's do both.
I mean, we got to split it up a little bit. We can't talk about two things at the same time. That'll just get confusing, man.
Okay.
All right, so we'll lighten it up a little bit, a little less messy. Zack Snyder.
Zack Snyder.
Zack Snyder. Obviously, we talked about the Snyder Cut last week, right?
Right. Which
This guy's
was
hot in the news
awesome.
right now because of the Snyder Cut, and then he's got this other film coming out, Army of the Dead.
Right. That's a Netflix thing, right?
Yeah. So he's a hot topic right now.
Yep.
Crazy, he's talking Star Wars.
Of course he's talking Star Wars. Yeah. Apparently there was there's something that he was kicking around doing a while back. So here's what he had to say when asked.
Back in the day, there was talk of this Kurosawa-inspired Star Wars project.
Yeah, I mean, and we talked about it, but it never, I've been working on it just away from the Star Wars universe, just on my own, just as a sci-fi thing.
It's now kind of reiterated as a different kind of project now?
It's kind of like it's still a sci-fi thing. It's the same story, just kind of, now I'm kind of let Star Wars be Star Wars, and I'm just going to, the 11-year-old me, still wants to make that. I just don't. Now I just know how to. So maybe we'll see that someday.
Kurosawa style sci-fi movie.
A New Hope.
Exactly. I love it. I don't know. I think you could probably pull something off that's pretty cool. Which he's saying he wants to do that style of movie, sci-fi. Was talking with him about doing it in Star Wars, but now not so much. Either way it could work, I guess. But it'd probably be good.
This was a long time ago, right? When they were talking.
It was like
Zack Snyder for Star Wars.
Yeah. It was, in fact, he kind of gets into when in this other clip here. When it comes to Star Wars, I don't know. He's asking for he's asking for a lot, I think, when it comes to working on Star Wars too here.
No, my idea was just give me the keys and I'll take her for a spin. At that time, there was no Star Wars. Star Wars wasn't really. It was that middle time. It was right after they had done the prequels and before the sale. So
They
it was
didn't
just
sell
like,
to Disney yet. Yeah, I got
I
you.
just was like, you know what? I can fix that. I can do something.
So first off, look, you're not just handed the keys to Star Wars, and you take Star Wars for a spin. I'm sorry. That's
He lost me right there at the end.
Oh, you mean where he said he could fix it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right after the prequels?
Yeah. So yes.
No, bro. That's a no for me.
Exactly. This was apparently around 2010, I guess, where these talks were going on, and
So back when Patton Oswalt was bitching about it.
Right? Yeah. Same thing. I don't know. you don't need to fix anything.
No.
Now, I'm kind of glad he fixed Justice League, but it's it's a different story.
Okay. Maybe he can do it, I guess. Maybe.
Star Wars didn't need no fixing. That's all I got to say.
I mean, he didn't fix Justice League, right? Let's be clear about this.
Okay.
He unbroke what someone else did.
There you go. Yes. It was yeah. It's a night and day difference, that's for sure.
Yeah. It's not the same thing. It's not going in and fixing something that, you had nothing to do with. Like, let's just put this into perspective. Joss Whedon was fixing Justice League. All right. This is what he's talking about doing here.
Yes. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
And then you had to come in and unfix it because he fixed it the wrong way.
Yes. I love the way you've twisted this 180 degrees around. Yes, for sure. Because, yes, George Lucas had something that needed no fixing, and if he'd have came in to quote unquote fix Star Wars, it would have, wrecked the whole thing. Now, this other story, I mean, if he does this Kurosawa style sci-fi thing, outside of Star Wars, I don't know, it sounds interesting. Let's see your take on, Kurosawa influenced sci-fi,
Yeah.
But, outside of Star Wars, I'm good with that. I'd like to see it.
I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing him do some Star Wars.
I agree.
At the same time, but don't come in with the idea to like fix it. Like,
Exactly.
What's done is done.
Right.
The second you try to like undo something or fix something, I mean, this is what we dealt with the sequels.
Absolutely.
Because one guy did a film and the next guy's like, oh, well, I got to fix the direction here. And then they brought in the guy who did the first one. He's like, well, now I got to fix what that guy did. And we end up with this big old mess of, spotty duct tape repairs.
Right. Got the broken taillight with the red tape over it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the kind of fix we got.
Exactly.
And not even the good red tape that had like good adhesive. No, this stuff was like hanging and dangling in the wind, right? Like
fraying apart. Yep.
Yeah. So we don't need none of that.
No. It is.
So
funny
I think that's
that.
the worst idea that I see. And like Reddit's a good place to find all this ideas for people to come in and fix what's been done. No, don't.
Right.
Don't. Just move on.
Exactly. Even
move on. It's a big universe.
This is Zack Snyder, right? We got the Snyder cut of the Justice League. We've had these rumors of the JJ cut, right? Of Rise of Skywalker. It's like, come on. Just, we got what we got. Leave it alone. Let's move on. We don't need all of that kind of stuff in Star Wars. Star Wars doesn't give us the leeway to have different cuts of the same film and stuff. It's not like DC, DC, there's room for that. So we don't need that in Star Wars.
Now, as far as the JJ cut goes, like my thought is this: if they did anything like that, all it's going to do is it's just going to be a longer film with gaps filled in, right? They would not change anything.
True.
I don't think they would be changing anything. It would just be a longer film with the gaps filled in, which would probably help.
Probably.
To be completely honest.
Yes.
I don't want a JJ cut where he's like, oh, this is what he would have done if the studio wouldn't have intervened. No.
Right.
If he had a problem with, if he had a true problem with the studio intervening and stuff like that, he could have just quit.
Yeah. I guess. I don't know. It's kind of hard to walk away from a project that big, though. I don't care who you are.
Yeah, I understand. But what I'm saying is if it was that big a deal, right? If this was that huge, hey, man, splits for creative differences happen all the time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know, I think the stuff he was having a problem with was relatively minor in the grand scheme of things. And it would just end up being a longer film. That's all.
Well, that's possible.
I mean, other than they shot like 30 endings, but
Yes.
yeah. But yeah, I'm interested to see what this project would be. I hope he does it.
Yeah, it'd be cool. Definitely be cool.
Have something to add to the conversation? Or you just want to let us know how we're doing? Email us, show@thewarsandmore.com. That's the best place to get in on the action. But if social media is a little more to your liking, @TheWarsAndMore on Twitter is always a good place to interact with us. And we're also on Facebook, facebook.com/TheWarsAndMore. And of course, your portal to this and everything else, The Wars and More, is thewarsandmore.com.
All right, so that was the upbeat one.
Okay. Wow.
Apparently, we're just going to complain this whole episode.
You know what? That's okay. Sometimes this is our form to let it out, right?
Yeah, we're those guys right now. We started good, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, Filoni, yeah.
Yay, Dave.
We go from that into like, well, everything sucks. So.
Yeah. See, this is the whole part of Star Wars that Dave wants to stay away from. So yeah, just stay over there, Dave. Be creative, right?
No, I feel like we're being pretty reasonable, but
yeah, I totally agree. I mean,
but yeah, that's why he doesn't want to be a studio director. The Kathleen Kennedy, right?
Exactly.
Because who wants to deal with this mess?
Right.
All right, J.J. Abrams. We started talking about him.
Yes, we did.
Might as well keep talking about him because he was out talking and he got asked about Star Wars because why not?
Yeah, specifically, he got asked about like the handoff from one creative to the next in the sequel trilogy. So it's pretty interesting what his thoughts here.
Handoff. That was a flea flicker, dude.
Hey,
that was...
Well, okay. However you'd like to think of it, that's what he was asked about.
Like, all right, give it to this guy. And...
Yeah. Here we go.
What I've learned as a lesson a few times now, and it's something that especially in this pandemic year, working with writers, the lesson is that you have to plan things the best you can, and you always need to be able to respond to the unexpected, and the unexpected can come in all sorts of forms. And I do think that there's nothing more important than knowing where you're going. And there are projects that I've worked on where we had some ideas, but we hadn't worked through them enough. We had sometimes we had some ideas, but then we weren't allowed to do them the way we wanted to. What? I've had all sorts of situations where, you plan things in a certain way, and you suddenly find yourself doing something that's 180 degrees different. And then sometimes it works really well, and you feel like, wow, that really came together. And other times you think, oh my God, I can't believe this is where we are. And sometimes when it's not working out, it's because it's what you planned. And other times when it's not working out, it's because it didn't. It's like you never really know. But having a plan, I have learned in some cases the hard way, is the most critical thing, because otherwise you don't know what you're setting up. You don't know what you're what to emphasize, because if you don't know the inevitable of the story, you're just as good as your last sequence or effect or joke or whatever, but you want to be leading to something inevitable.
Having a plan is the most critical thing.
Right. I mean, you don't want to go in for an oil change and they do your brakes, right? Like, that's not...
Hey, these things have been known to happen, but, Yeah. Going to have your right
Having a plan.
knee
Having a
operated on, they do the left.
Yep.
Yeah.
Best part is they mark it first, right? Like,
Exactly. Yeah, I just, what I'm hearing here is, it sounds to me like he feels like the plan was deviated from or something. I don't know. I mean,
well, yeah.
yeah.
I think
Again.
everybody feels that way.
Again, you know, I'm just trying not to come across too negatively. But okay, yeah. Plan was deviated from.
Yeah, I mean, and this is not the fault of any director.
No.
You know, this is the fault of Disney Lucasfilm.
Right.
Because they're the ones that are supposed to have the plan.
Yes, absolutely. And I think you're absolutely right there. They relinquished all of that to the directors, where I think that was part of the problem, you know. And every director is going to have their own vision, you know. So and I'm gonna preface this by saying he wasn't necessarily with any of this specifically talking about the sequel trilogy necessarily. He was asked about the sequel trilogy, but he went on. I cut off about a minute's worth of him saying, well, this happens in TV series and this project and that project and all these other projects and everything else. And he's talking in generalities. But I think he's bringing it back around to the actual sequel trilogy when he's talking about a lot of this stuff. And it really, I'm curious when he says, you know, there's some things we weren't allowed to do. Because it's like, okay, what might have that been? You know, you mentioned, and really leading up to the release of The Rise of Skywalker, there was a lot of talk about, you know, this being a longer film and stuff, and then really in the end it wasn't. So right. I'm curious if there's a lot of stuff that he would have put in there that the studio didn't let him, you know?
Well, yeah, I think so. They only planned one thing, is like, we don't want it to go over this amount of time.
Right.
You know, it's gotta be 9 films. It can't be 10 films.
Yeah.
You know, there's no part 1, no part 2, you know, like,
right.
And it's gotta be within the normal Star Wars runtimes. That was their plan.
That right there, normal Star Wars runtime, I don't buy that because George broke that. Right? I mean, Revenge of the Sith was like 220 or something like that.
Yeah, and Return of the Jedi was longer too, right?
I don't know if it was that much longer, but I'm pretty sure Revenge of the Sith was.
But the third
longer.
film of each trilogy was the longest.
That may be a true statement. I'm not sure.
Pretty sure.
But I just feel like in that ever, you know, JJ way he's got of saying things that was him saying, yes, we could have planned things out better.
Return of the Jedi's runtime is 2 hours, 16 minutes.
16. Okay. Yep.
So
I don't know.
Not much longer than Empire. Empire was 2 hours, 7 minutes.
Right.
So right around that 2 hour mark is what they do.
Yeah. I don't know. I think we've been saying the same thing for a long time now. You know, this the plan was deviated. I don't know. After The Force Awakens, I got this vibe from JJ that you know, like he was done. He was just, okay, I'm done with Star Wars now. I did the one movie. I'm done. And I can't help but wonder if some of that had to do with, we all know that the end of The Force Awakens was going to have Luke meditating with like boulders floating around him, right? And Ryan asked JJ to not do that. So I wonder if that left a bad taste in his mouth. I don't know. But somehow they got him to come back. It's
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. This is clearly an admission, though, that mistakes were made.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say that that's true.
Right.
So do we got any more from JJ or?
Nope, that was it. That's all we got from JJ.
All right. Well, now we can lighten it up, right?
Sure. Why not? How are we going to do that?
Seth Rogen.
Ah, yes.
A good way to do it.
Sure. And this is all lighthearted, right? You said lighten it up. It's lighthearted, fun stuff. Just some, I don't know, a little picking on George Lucas, the man himself. But a couple, 3 weeks ago, Seth Rogen was on Conan show, and they ended up trading stories about meeting George Lucas. So here's how Seth went.
Like Conan said, me and Evan were called into a meeting with Steven Spielberg, which was a real treat and an amazing. I'd met him a couple times, very in passing, but it was a thrill, And we got to the meeting, and we were waiting in his office for him. It's like a doctor's office; they take you in first, and you wait for them to come in. And he came in with George Lucas, which was amazing, which was mind blowing. Like they're there together. It truly. For like a nerdy kid, like one of the most amazing things I've ever seen in my entire life. And at which point Spielberg, if I remember, like is kind of like making phone calls and doing some stuff as he's like, I need a few minutes as George Lucas sits down and talks to me and Evan. At which point, very quickly, the conversation turns to like, how's it going? Not great. We're nearing the end of 2012 and the world is going to end essentially. Yes. To which me and Evan are like, is he joking? A question that still haunts me to this day. And I think I know the answer is, was he joking? I really don't think it did not appear he was joking. So,
George Lucas doesn't joke about these things.
No. No. He was dead serious.
It's the end of the world. That is funny. I could just imagine George Lucas saying, "Oh, things are not going great because the world's going to end.
We're all gonna die.
We're all going to die." Yeah. He goes on to say, or to talk about maybe some, just how long George has been actually paying attention to this. I guess I don't know. This is funny.
We're making jokes. It's like, what's supposed to happen? It's like, a giant fault is gonna, earthquake.
No, he's very seriously saying, it's a fault line.
It's a fault line. I'm like, good thing the Skywalker Ranch is on the other side of the fault line. And he's like, that's not a coincidence. Like, and we're like, what?
I planned it. I planned it out because I knew this was going to happen. Yeah, that's funny.
Wow.
Yeah. It's funny. You have people who think as big as George Lucas does. It wouldn't surprise me if there was actual thought put into that. It's like all of California on that side is going to fall in. So I'm putting my place over here. You never know. I mean, as irrational as that would be, you wonder sometimes, right? Because eccentric people are eccentric, right? It's just how it is.
Yes.
But, yeah. So Who knows? Maybe there was forethought put into that. It's hard to say. But when Seth Rogen was trying to get in on the escape plan, that was a whole nother matter.
We making a joke like, oh well, like you got a spaceship to escape Earth, like, you know, can we get a seat on that thing? And he was like, no. No. Which again, like, it makes me think he wasn't joking, because if you were joking, you would just say yes to go, like, to at least placate us by granting our wish to go on the spaceship. But no, he said no.
Not getting on my ship. I could just imagine.
Yep.
George is like, I do have a spaceship, and no.
I said, I have a spaceship.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I've been planning ahead of time.
Not damn
you. Get your own damn ship. That's right. So Conan had his own story about meeting George Lucas. Well, he had met him apparently before, but like the last time that they spoke, and this was interesting as well.
The last time I ran into George Lucas, and I ran into him, and he was like, hello, Conan. I was like, oh, hello, George, good to see you. And he's like, good to see you. And I think at the end of the conversation, it was brief, but I just said, I've got to, go. I got a show to do, show to tape. And he said, you don't tape a show, you're retired. And I said, no. And he went, yes, you are. Like, he knows that, so yeah, I'm not on a network, but I'm not retired. But, so I'm not whatever. But he was telling me that I was retired. And I was saying, well, I'm not. I have a show, and I also there's this and that and that. And he was kind of like, no. Almost as if I was, isn't it sad that Conan doesn't know?
Hey, you're retired. No, I'm not. You are now.
Liar.
Yeah. It's funny because George Lucas can make things happen. Just saying. But
That's funny.
That is funny. I mean, hey, it's picking on the maker, but every now and then,
Yeah.
it's all in good fun.
It's all in good fun. Gotta do that sometimes.
Yeah.
All right. Bad Batch.
Ah, yes. There was another episode, wasn't there?
There was another episode. So, this week we're talking about episode 4, Cornered.
Yes.
So, simple supply run. Never simple in Star Wars.
Never. The supply runs always go wrong. Yes. As we learned from Rebels. A lot.
Well, I think that's instant, right? Like, you say supply run, and they're like, nah.
Exactly. Yep. Quick in and out. Yep.
Yeah, right. So, I guess the big thing this week was Fennec Shand showing up.
Yeah, for sure. And I will say this. I was surprised at how that character came across in this show. Because, yes, clearly she's after Omega, and she wants to I'm not sure what she wants. She wants to apprehend Omega for some reason, for someone, for something. We're not sure yet. And, it's just not what you expect from a quote unquote bounty hunter, because she's being all nice to Omega,
Right.
It was like, wow, that's interesting. I mean, it seems like she's, yes, playing on her naivete, but also kind of just being nice too. I don't know. It's kind of strange, quite a bit different from the way we're introduced to Fennec Shand in The Mandalorian.
Well, we never really saw Fennec Shand after a kid, right?
Right.
So this just could be that. You know, it's a child. It's a, you know,
Right.
there's no reason to be, you know, ruthless.
Right.
But yes, that was a little shocking because she seemed to just get the job done before, right? Like,
Exactly. And had the reputation of being, you know, really hard to take out or something, you know.
well, and one you didn't walk away from. You didn't go after her and come back.
Exactly. That's it. That's the way to put it. Yep.
So you assume that, you know, if she came after you, it was the same thing. You weren't coming back.
Right. Yeah. So, you know, as far as Fennec Shan being in the show, I think we're kind of in for a longer haul with her in this show than I was realizing, and I think that's cool. This looks like it might be shaping up to be a longer, overarching storyline, you know?
Right.
So who do
Yeah.
you think she's working with? Clearly at the end we got this, you know, this transmission she made, and you know, there's lots of speculation there.
Boba Fett.
Yeah, you think so?
I don't know. Just spitballing.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of it. It's Boba Fett. It's the Empire. You know, it's Cameron Owens. Could be any of them. And
Cameron Owens.
yeah. You know, trying to retrieve Omega for them, because they talked about needing only one, right, to get genetic material. So, be interesting to see, you know, who she's working for. You know, Cameron Owens, you know, they have a history of working with bounty hunters. So,
Yeah, I definitely didn't get the idea that she was working for the Empire,
right.
which was our initial thought before.
Right.
Because we knew the Empire would hire bounty hunters,
Yep.
things like that.
Yep. Although, when you think about it, in this early stage of the Empire, right, it's brand new. You almost, and I guess this would be a behind the scenes operation, but you know, they want to put this cheery face forward, right? We see what's his name? The one with the credit exchange and all that, the chain code thing.
Right.
Rampart, right? So
Yeah.
we see him again with the same deal as they had on Seleucumai, and it's like they're trying to put forth this, you know, everything's going to be better now. In fact, they had, you know, troopers parading down the street and everyone's cheering them on. You know, it's really interesting to see how, and this right here is Padme's line in Revenge of the Sith playing out across the galaxy. You know,
Right.
this is how liberty dies. So
Yeah, that was strange, right? Like, here you got, you know, Imperial occupation,
yeah,
and it's being welcomed.
yeah, exactly. With open arms, cheering. Yep, pumping their fists in the air, and Hunter says it to Omega, you know, because she's like, "What are they cheering for?" And it's like, the war is over. You know, they're just happy to not be at war anymore. Makes sense, you know. You know, little do they know what they're in store for. And it's an interesting dynamic here too, where, you know, we know who the good guys and bad guys are between the Empire and the Bad Batch and all, But here we have Hunter trying to make a supply run and sell explosives, pawn them off so he can get some credits to buy food and gas. That's hilarious.
Right.
He's doing something that would be considered a bad thing, but he's supposed to be the good guy. It's. I
mean, I think the bad thing was selling Echo, right?
Well, yeah, that was hilarious. Yeah. You bought me at a bargain. Yeah.
You bought me at a bargain.
Yeah, whatever he said is, yeah. That was funny. I did like the droid get up though, where he's impersonating a droid.
Right.
That was kind of cool.
Yeah, it was a good ruse.
It was. This episode, it was definitely a setup episode, right? Where they're teeing something up for us, and I think we're gonna get hit with it maybe next week, the next episode here, and there might not be a whole lot of meat in this one, but I think that's on deck for us. That's we did have our funny moments. There's always Wrecker, right? He's working with Tech, and Tech's like, is somewhere behind the whatever flux capacitor thing, and he's no,
Tell me what to rip out.
Tell me what to rip out. That made me laugh. That was good.
Yeah, Wrecker's like one of the stars for me, right? Like,
oh yeah,
like at Wrecker, it's always a good time when he's on screen. It's almost always funny,
right? And here in this episode, he took another blow to the head. I got a feeling this is going to become a thing.
I have a feeling it's going to become a problem.
Yes. He didn't complain about a headache or anything, but it's another blow to the head. And wondering if this is going to make his chip malfunction.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting out of this. Is there's going to be a problem with that chip, and it could end up hurting his relationship with his crew there.
Yeah.
I really hope not.
No, I think it'll all get resolved one way or another. I mean, I think they're working towards neutralizing their chips, if nothing else, if not getting them out or something. But, they're not quite there yet, so.
Right.
So, in this episode, what do you think of Omega, where, she's clearly showing some, like I said earlier, naivete, but, like, she also wants to get out. She wants to explore. She's not looking to hide away. I've been on Camino my whole life, it's like, do you think this is going to lead to more issues in the future for the Bad Batch here?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, yeah. I think so as well. I got a feeling that, that her curious nature, which is only natural because she has been on Camino for so long, is going to come out, and she doesn't have the life experience, which was thrown right in our face this episode, with once she got separated from Hunter down the street there, she had all these experiences, bumping into someone, the speeder bike going by, and you could see clearly the overwhelmed nature of everything going on around her. And I think we're going to have to go through her getting a lot more life experience in before she settles into her role, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of growing pains here for that stuff. Just because, like you said, there's no experience there. The wandering off, like you said, it was just, that was so blatantly the wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
But doesn't know any better.
Exactly.
Doesn't know how, I mean, I think she's learning quickly how dangerous the galaxy is.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's hope she's learning. That's what we're looking for, right?
I think that's what's happening here. Each thing is just, okay, don't do that. Okay, don't do that. She found out that wandering into, areas with wildlife is dangerous, and now she knows that if you just wander around other people,
right?
She had no real reason to think that the common person is dangerous.
Exactly. Yeah. But it's funny, even at the end, right? The Bad Batch is aboard their ship, and they're talking about, okay, we got to find out who this bounty hunter is and who she works for. And Tech says, and clearly you're the target, to Omega, and she's like, why? It's like, okay, kid, you're the one who's been telling the Bad Batch all about the inhibitor chips and what they're for, and like you just know it. It's a matter of fact. The reason why you might be a target should be pretty clear to her, unless there's something about her that even she doesn't know.
Right. Like the fact that she's, Gen 1 of Force-sensitive clones.
Something like that, yes. And if she doesn't know it, then the only ones who would be Kaminoans. So, be interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to watch going forward. I do find myself more and more interested in Omega's character.
Right.
It's seeming like she's going to play a bigger role in this story than I initially thought.
Yeah, I agree there.
I thought she was kind of going to be a sidekick, but no, they're setting something up here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, we'll keep watching. I'm excited for next episode.
Absolutely. Me too. Yeah, overall, like I said, this is definitely a setup episode. And, I know we got to have those as we progress along.
Yeah, and we're going to have a few probably in a row. Like,
yeah. Cuz we have to have some time to get invested into these characters. So, before really bad things start happening and all that. But
hey, the one thing we can say about Star Wars, TV shows and animation and things like that is at least we know we're building towards something.
Absolutely.
There's an end already figured out.
Yes.
At least a part of an end.
Yep.
So we're at least heading in a cohesive direction towards something. So that's exciting.
Yes. Yes, for sure.
So, well, all right. If you have anything to add to the conversation, you can always email us, show@thewarsmore.com. That's the best way to get a hold of us. We're also on social media. We're at The Wars is More on Twitter, facebook.com/thewarsandmore. You can find all that and all the ways to find the show over at thewarsandmore.com. Any final thoughts this week, Doug?
No, I think that about covers it.
All right. We will talk next week.